Hello, everyone. It's Spirit Sessions of View of the Light. And if you've just joined us for the first time, welcome. And I want to introduce my guest host, Nancy Louise, who's stepped in. Bex and Teresa are away today. Our other guest hosts will be joining us on next week for meditations and messages, so don't forget that. And we'd love to welcome back Tanya Marie from her space. It's been a while since we've seen you, Tanya Marie, and
It
she's in
has.
Kansas, Missouri, right on the line there. And she's come to bring us some information about healing trauma through art, but all the other things she's done. It's been a while, so we're going to have her introduce herself again. But just take a minute to share this out to uh, check out our podcast. It'll be this one will be on later, so you can re-listen to it when you're driving and get all the information you missed the first time around. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube. We're trying to get up to 1,000 viewers by the end of the year, and we're getting really close. So if you go and subscribe and hit a little notification and check out the Breakthrough Network show during the week, because Jessica always has wonderful things going on and something to uplift your day every day. And there's stuff going on in the Breakthrough Network show world as well. So, anyways, without further ado, I'm going to hand this over to Tanya. And Tanya, tell us how you started your spiritual journey and your everything that's been going on since we talked last.
Yeah. So my spiritual journey has really started since I was born. I was kind of born this way, always being intuitive, always had the gift of knowing. And then I'm gonna try to wrap this. It's a very long story, so we'll just go to uh, I was always very sensitive, and the kind of throughout my whole, especially childhood, I had a heart condition. I was supposed to die young. The doctor said I wouldn't live to see my teenage years. And so I was always kind of on the very sensitive path, especially knowing that I had an out. And we can talk about that in a minute. But I had a valve replacement at 16. And that kind of then extended my life. And I knew that I was always really sensitive, really in tune, knew things, just told everybody I was a really good guesser. Didn't really know the reason why. My grandma was a Reiki master and very intuitive, so it's in my mother's side on that line. And my grandma always knew I was special. The part I only have recently talked about in the past few years is that how my life was extended at 16, and I never really believed that until I heard it from another intuitive. My grandma reached out to a healer in Hawaii and extended my life, and then after having a couple of readings, especially during my, if you call it my spiritual awakening, an intuitive said to me, like, you're not supposed to be here. I said, no. And the only person who knew that was my grandma who had passed away and my mom that was in another reading. So that's when I kind of believed my grandma, even though she always told me I didn't really believe it. And so I had my daughter was gifted when I first had her. And I thought maybe it skipped a generation because she would be the one talking about angels in the room and seeing my grandpa who had passed over. And I was like, wow. And my grandma was so excited. And then it's going to be almost 10, I'm going on 9 years and no, almost 10 years actually. My grandma was diagnosed with cancer and she was my spiritual mentor. And when she was diagnosed with cancer, I really started doing yoga and listening. I don't know if you guys, this is how old we're going to be. Sylvia Brown's
Yeah.
I was we're gonna throw it way back. Her meditations,
the OGs, the OGs,
exactly, the OGs, right?
Yeah.
Meet your spirit guide, and I met my spirit guide Rebecca, and it was no big deal. It was easy for me, and I told my friends hey, maybe this is what you got to do, get into yoga and meditate. You meet your spirit guide. I just kind of thought this was that everybody did this. And when I was telling my grandma, she didn't tell me that I was different and most people didn't do this. I didn't have a big circle. So after my grandma had passed, I was on the side of her bed as she was passing with the family, and I could hear her like I was talking to you. And I thought, well, that's weird. Maybe it's because I just talked to her, like, no big deal. So then in meditation, I could talk to her. I was talking to my spirit guide, Rebecca. Flash forward about 6-7 months. And she had told me that I was in a meditation, and she told me that there was going to be a woman in this flowing red dress who could help me with or give me guidance, I think is what she said. And the next day we were in Florida and we went to Casadega, and that's when I got a reading. And we were in the bookstore, and my aunt's like, we got to find the girl in the red dress, because I had told my aunt what my grandma had said and everything. And I was like, well, we'll see her if she shows up, like, whatever. And we were at the bookstore, and across the street, it was this woman in this flowing red dress, and my aunt about fell over. And I walked up to her, and she's like, are you going to talk to her? I was like, yeah. So I walked up to her. I'm like, are you a psychic medium? She's like, yeah. Did my boyfriend send you? And I was like, no. And I told her the story, and she's like, we need to talk. She had no clients that day. She didn't even really know why she went in. She just felt guided to go in. So that's when we went up, and she looked at me, and she's like, you're not supposed to be here. And I was like, no, I'm not. And she's like, you're really gifted. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, you're like highly gifted. And I was like, doesn't everybody dream about their past loved ones? Doesn't everybody talk to people that have passed? Like, what do you mean? And she's like, no, I'm a medium, and I don't dream about my past loved ones. And I was like, okay. And she's like, you're supposed to be working with angels. And I was like, what does that mean? I'm a business owner. I was an insurance agent. Like, what do you mean? So she's like, this is going to get started like now. So I took Doreen Virtue's son, like how to,
Charles Virtue?
Yeah, yes. His little online course, like, you're not crazy. Here's like the basic steps kind of thing. So I signed up for that course, and it was all online, just going after videos. And I really started, and then that's when all the communication like flooded in. So Spirit's like, you need to do readings. So this was November, and I asked a yoga place, like, hey, can I do readings that December in a couple weeks? Had no idea what I was doing. I was like, okay, Spirit, like, I'm just going to listen and say what you want. I was booked out that day. And then from there on out, I started doing lives. That's when, I don't know if that was probably when you guys remember me. I had Talking with the Angels.
Yes.
Grew that page and just kind of started. And everything I have received or have grown has been direct from Spirit. I wasn't taught from anybody. And they gave me all my energy. They gifted me with a bunch of energy tools that I taught. So I had rainbow ray healing, and I taught a couple different courses and levels of that. Really I stopped during, it was the second year during COVID, I think 2022, 21. And Spirit's like, okay, you're done. Like, we're done. We're moving on to something else. So since then, I do what Spirit tells me to do. And I've had one of my students say, I've never seen somebody trust Spirit so much. And that's just kind of what my life and what I'm here for to do in whatever direction that is. So I've done many different things in teaching energy healing, channeling, mediumship. I had my own television show. You guys know that on Akash Academy, but I also had one on Blue Television, was radio, just kind of helping anybody who really comes across me heal from the inside out. So that's really what I've been doing. And then I have been doing art for about 25 years. And that was kind of something I had in the closet that I didn't share with anybody. And Spirit said to me, and actually I had another acupuncturist say this, we all work for Spirit. Our tool on how to reach other people is what's unique to us.
Yeah.
And I know you guys may have felt it because we talked about it before, Rhonda, when you're like, we kind of all shifted during COVID, and it felt like everybody kind of took this shift. Like, how can we reach more people? How can we help people in a new way? And the lady that I was talking about, she's like, I use the needles, even though I'm intuitive, I use acupuncture for that. And it felt like I was like, okay, Spirit, yes, I did a bunch of shows here, mediumship shows, I can read cards, I've done all that, but I felt like something was missing. And when I really stepped for me into my art, they like handed me like the paintbrush or the pencil to somebody else and says, pass this along with somebody else to somebody else. When I did my guided meditations, because I'm clairvoyant and clairaudient, I could be very descriptive and take people on a journey. And now they want that to come alive on paintings, on pictures. When people really tap into the deeper part of their soul and find and kind of, and my whole purpose and what spirit wants to channel through me is that I'm this guide of unleashing and unlocking something on a piece of paper. And people are very self-critical about their artwork. And I keep telling everybody, it's not about what comes out on the paper. It's about the journey that came through when you felt the color pink, the color red. What does that feel like in your body? You might have a memory, you might have a sense. And when you start really uncovering those layers, and this is when you open people's clairvoyancy. This is when you start opening up those clairs. I am an activator. I've been that. I mean, all my students have called me that. It's just really hard to be like, hey, I'm an activator. Schedule an activation. Like, they're like, what the hell is that supposed to mean? So
it's
I'm
sort of like you give attunements like your grandmother used to do.
Yes.
Everybody's wired, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
For spirits. Sometimes you just need somebody to unlock the key.
Exactly. And I've been called a meat tenderizer. I've been called a whole bunch of things. I have a little tendency. So I'm trying to, soften that. And I think, and art has definitely been that tool. And, you might see the ads on Facebook and Instagram talking about art therapy. That is not what I do. I have no idea what they do, but I'm intuitive. So because I am clairvoyant and clairaudient, I know where your trauma started. And that's how I've been since I've been doing this forever. I start from the beginning. But instead of telling people, because I've also been heard I'm a fire hose, instead of channeling and doing that, I'm taking a softer approach where I ask you questions to guide you. Because it's easier for once, and I say this to all my students and all my clients, once you've seen, you can't unsee. So I'm guiding you to the point to where you can see and have that emotional effect. That's why I wrote my book on 77 emotional words. And because once you get to that point, you have that aha moment, and then we work forward.
Okay, so can you describe your process? So I come to you as a client or as a student. So how would this session go?
The first thing I would ask you is what are you wanting to look for? Because I want to find more joy in my life, right? Or, you know what, I have been really stuck at the same pattern in my life. So I would first ask, like, where would you like to go? Like, what is the main thing laying on your heart right now? So, see, I say this and then I start channeling.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm like, if you're like, veer off course, Tanya. I was hearing like, how do I get more abundance? A lot of people is, how do I get the more money? Like, that's where I'm going with this. How do I get more money and more clients? A lot of people are, especially intuitive based, who come to me they're a little more aware of their intuition, and they ask that question. And we've been talking, I mean, I think Betty's been talking about it for a while that, okay, sorry, I'm channeling and then it gets hard to talk normal. The energy, money is an exchange. So the block is they think of the object, the first thing is money. Well, then it goes back to worthiness. So then I will take them back to, and spirit will tell me, like, okay, I'm seeing something at like 7 years old where you blocked for your worthiness. A lot of people, and this is where I have a issue with normal therapy, they only go to like the mother and the father. Well, how do we know that somebody on the playground said something to you that started that initiation, started that block? How do we know it wasn't a teacher? And that's where my intuitive abilities will come in, because I'll channel the situation and then I will help guide them through and say, did you notice how this happened at 12 in this situation? Had you noticed how the theme has followed you throughout your life? Because when you can really see your pattern and be like, wow, this really stopped here. My job, my relationships, being able to express myself, me not wanting something, holding myself back because I didn't feel worthy. then you really start to see it. So it would be a process, and I could use this. And the main thing with art is, you guys have all seen Tyler Henry do this for a long time. When you move
the scribbles.
Yes. So when you move your brain out of the way and you're not thinking, you let spirit come in. So this, as art, is also a distraction to really open your clairs, whatever that is for you. One of my students, because I used to say whatever you would see, and I would have to refrain that because she was very, very a feeler. So I'm like, what do you feel? And it's very, also, I teach it's very specific. How your relationship is with spirit is very, very personal. Don't compare yourself to anybody else, because I had that so many times. Well, spirit talks to you like this. And I'm like, no. That's, you need to build your own relationship. So when they have their own bond, as they're distracting and creating, oh, wow, I kind of feel like light and feathery right now. I'm drawing a feather. Oh, I feel like a tree. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? It's more of a distraction. But I also, thank you. Sorry, spirits distracted me on imploring and inviting. When we talk about energy and colors, they might be feeling really drawn to a color. We all know this about our chakras. Eat more of the orange. So it's kind of the same concept when we're doing art. What are we feeling like? We're also energetically, we talk about it, release it, we move it through energy, and we're getting it out on paper. So there's 3 modalities that we're moving in a session. So we can talk about any of those that are blocked. So it's really a full body session on moving this out.
So are you doing the art, or are they doing the art?
They're doing the art.
They're doing the art.
It's because I've also known, I can tell you all day long, and that's where spirit has changed me. When we talked about this before about COVID, I can rattle off all the information, but there was no absorption.
Right.
So by them taking action, even if it's drawing on a piece of paper, them having the awareness, they're physically moving out their own energy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So color has frequency, right?
Yes.
As well.
Yep.
And that has a healing frequency. Have you found that? Yeah. And different colors hit different emotions.
And it would be interesting, with each client, what color they're feeling drawn to. Right. Like, what are you feeling? How does that feel in your body? You might feel a knot in your stomach, and they're pulling up yellow. Let's talk about, I might not say, let's talk about your solar plex, but like your chakra, but like what are we feeling here? So it's a domino effect.
Yeah. We've got Brittany on watching, and she's an artist, and she teaches art and through the Breakthrough Show Network family. And she knows all about it.
Just talking about that too, with the effects of color when you go like out grocery shopping and things like that. Of course, the energy you're sending also matters too. But I always said, like, if I'm wearing something magenta or certain colors, I find people are very drawn.
Yep. And
I'm one of the ones that they'll come up and share everything in the produce section, and I find when I'm wearing certain things, it just brings it in more. But generally, I'll pick colors that I'm called to that day. Like today was just, it had to be deep pink. It was, I was heading for blue, and it was like, nope, it's a pink day. I'm feeling this. And so now, let me ask you this. Okay, so now we moved over to more creative and art therapy. Now, I noticed with yourself, because I've been watching you on Facebook and such, how you've moved over in the pottery and such. So with your art and stuff that you are creating, what is that intention? Is that your own healing mission? Is that
Nancy, you're so funny asking these questions, because I haven't publicly announced the reasons why.
Okay.
So
Nancy's smarter than she thinks.
I was like, I love this. I was like, Spirit, we're going there. You're just throwing me out. Yes, we are.
Yeah. To the big waters.
Mm-hmm. So I've been doing art for, like I said, 25 years. I just haven't.
Oh, right. Quietly.
Out the, yes. So when I started doing art, I was listening to a lot of NDE radio after my grandma had passed. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the paintings that I was doing, so a lot of the paintings that I do are energy based, from the auras to the abstract colors, sunsets, because there's a lot of color and vibrancy to it. So each piece is channeled. And it's actually funny, Nancy, that you said that, because I'm actually doing a giveaway right now. And one of the ladies goes, I could imagine how much energy you put in a piece. And it's the same concept with my pottery, that as you guys I think you guys know this as well as I do, that some people kind of are like, whoa, they're too far for me. Like, I can't get into doing a session. I'm not doing a reading. But if they were to buy a piece of artwork, the energy is infused in it. And the blessing of whatever spirit decided to put in that is that hopefully that they get a blessing and some kind of energy that is infused in anything that I create. So it's just trying to spread more positive energy out there in every piece and how you get affected by it.
Yes.
So.
And I would think pottery, because it has crystals and minerals in it, would hold the energy extremely well.
Yes. And it's
when you drink, even if it's a drinking vessel, it would charge whatever's in there as well.
Yeah.
Or a eating vessel. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's from the earth. So you're dealing with, clay activating. So yeah, that's kind of, there we go. There's
made for clay.
Out there.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
I love that. And then you have different sessions that you're able to do privately with people. You're able to do it like long distance on a Zoom call or whatever in that manner. Now with the new setup that you have, the Barnadium.
Oh yes, yeah, but I'm actually in another studio. It's a collective wellness center. So there's other.
Yeah, see that? I remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm in a studio with.
That's where your items are set up for sale, right?
Yeah. So I have both my coloring book and my workbook there. I mean, you can also order it on. So I'm looking for a publisher as we speak, but I'm self-published on Amazon because I don't have a publisher right now. So those are available on Amazon. But yeah, the setup that I have, I rent it with another woman who does biofeedback.
Okay.
So I'm there Tuesdays and Thursdays and every other Friday for my space. And that's where we can do one-on-one. I can do virtual too, as long as somebody has crayons or markers or, you know what I mean? Paper. Yeah. So either way, it all works the same.
And then, but you have your pottery and everything is set up at that location, right?
So for sale. Yeah, I have my paintings in there, and then pottery's about to be in there. I'm doing a lot of shows. I'm trying to get out there and doing shows as well. So
that's what I'm catching pieces of.
Yeah. Okay. So I just got back from Colorado. I was doing a show in Colorado.
Okay.
So yeah, I had a lady at, who owns a lodge out there that was hosting me. So trying to get spread my work everywhere.
Do you have like a setup on Etsy or something like that too?
Yes.
So, okay.
Yeah, I just started my Etsy shop. I'm going to slowly be adding pieces. There's only a few pieces. I'm slowly adding pieces every day. That's my giveaway. So if you just follow my shop, all you have to do is go and follow. You're entered to win a free custom mug.
And now, did you give me the links for that in the video, or do I need to add?
I didn't. That just Spirit just told me about that yesterday. So we just started.
So you have to look. What is your Etsy name? So we'll be able to.
Yeah, it's Colorful Earth Studios, and I can put it in the
comments for sure. In the comments,
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll add it to the description when I can edit them. So I'll add that later.
Yeah, and then others will be able to access the pieces and so on. And now, does the story come with the piece? Do they just get to feel the energy when they purchase?
Yeah, no, there's not a story. I can do that in a personal piece.
Okay.
So so the energy is just for the ones that I do is just whatever somebody gets called to, and then if I were to do a personal piece, and then I would tap into your energy, feel that, pull it from source, and then
move forward on that. That's beautiful.
Very cool. So, do you do like intuitive portraits too, or intuitive like pictures for people as well? Like
I have. I've actually done that for my students when we came together. At the end of my energy healing session, we came together in person in Kansas City, and I gave them each a energetic self-portrait. It's a lot of colors. But yes, I have done that for them. It's not like on one of my services, but I probably need to put that on there. But yes, I do that. So yeah, I do all my art sessions and then a normal mentoring session too.
It's cool. So do you teach this as well? You were talking with this, you're talking about students. So do you teach this kind of I'll call it a modality, but just a system of different kind of healing too?
I did rainbow ray healing for quite a few years, and then I haven't started a new course up yet because Spirit's still trying to well, I'm waiting for a few things collectively in the energy.
Right.
And then I'm waiting to like solidify exactly how Spirit wants this to be.
A
I think
protocol.
exactly. I mean, before the course was 9 months, and I think this one is going to be more 6 months because we went through the whole entire chakras and there was a lot of stuff that was involved. This one I think is going to be, well, I know, yes, it's going to be different, so it'll be a shorter time. I believe it's coming in 2025.
Okay.
That's what I'm hearing from Spirit. Nice. Yeah, spring. So
okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you before we wrap up if you have I know you channel messages, so, and we were talking about this before. Usually we'll pull a card at the beginning of our show for the collective, but we just thought I'd ask you if you can just channel a message straight from Spirit for the collective. Yes. for the next little while, so theme that people need to think about or might want to listen to or whatever.
Yes. So yeah, I think anybody who's watched my thing, any of my channels know that I channel. So yeah, I will tap into
Spirit wants to tell us.
I will. I change a little bit in channel, and I'm going to close my eyes and go into trance kind of thing. Okay. So just to let you know.
We'll just hum in the
background. Okay, so I have like a team where I thought it was going to be like one entity, and they're talking about Christ consciousness. So we're talking about the team of Christ consciousness. It's a collective. Okay, so when I'm just gonna say exactly what he's saying. That's the best way I can describe this.
For sure.
We come here today to give you a message of healing. We hope that the energy that is infused in this message, in this video, that is around you in your space opens your heart, helps you settle into this space inside of you that you hold so deep, the parts of you that you do not see. We see you. We fully embrace the love, the tightness, something that you hold so deep that you may not be ready to show to the world. We ask you to relax, soften, open this space, settle in, let your guard down, like you're opening wings. Embrace the love and acceptance that is around you. It's time for you to be seen. It's time for you to shine. Listening to that heart, to the soft whispers that lie within you. Opening, softening, allowing this energy to come in and move through you. Shifting and opening your awareness and your perspective to a new consciousness, to a new view, to new feeling. Seeing the world through the lens and the heart of you are meant to be here. You are meant to be seen. Begin walking with your shoulders rolled back, your head held high. We are with you, supporting you and loving you. Your time is now. We love you. Thank you. We are here for you always. Namaste.
Wow, that's a lovely message. Big message of self-acceptance. You're meant to be here. You're meant to be here. You're worthy of everything that comes to you.
Yes.
All the goodness and all blessings. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that felt good.
Brittany's bawling right now. The time is now. I've been hearing that for weeks.
Oh,
There's such lovely validation, and Brittany, lovely. She said her ears were ringing so loud. I don't know. I can hear that. Yeah, that's interesting.
I was seeing the golden ray beside you. The golden ray was just beaming.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet, so sweet. So, what do you think is the biggest thing that has changed in you in the past 5 years? What do you think? How do you think you've grown? I guess it would be.
Personally, going through my own trauma and then healing some stuff that happened personally to me, healing through it, but trusting spirit every moment and living. That's just kind of the way I am. Is like even that I'm not known for a channeler, even though if I probably fully wanted to step into that, I could. I did that in my own groups on Facebook. Listening and trusting and knowing that spirit has your back no matter what, always. And that has been probably the biggest growth I've done, is I've just fully have melted in and trusted spirit. No matter where they've taken me, know that they do have my back, and whoever I touch or whoever's message or I run into, that whatever is supposed to be is meant to be. So trust.
Yeah, that's awesome. How do I know like different families react differently too when you're the different one, but your daughter must feel so supported to have a mom like you.
Yeah, I think that they think it's a little, her gifts kind of closed, my son open. I think you guys have probably already talked about this on your show, that there's different windows where your kids are kind of open, kind of closes at 8, can open in preteens and open later. So she's very, very, very intuitive and knowing. I think so. I think my son, especially when he gets hurt or sick, so I just do some work on him and he's back lickety split. So, but it's something I think they don't particularly like to talk about with their friends, which I understand. So,
Right now, right? It's a right now thing.
Yes.
In another few years, it'll be cool again.
Yes. But yeah. Right now, they don't like it when I instantly wake up and know that they've been doing something bad, or I get notified and call them.
How does your husband feel about that? Because
I think it was
totally accepted it.
Well, he struggled in the beginning. I think he's now, because he was raised religious. I was raised spiritual. So for many years we've struggled, and that was a big, huge kind of barrier in our relationship, to be honest. And it was challenging. It's hard. I've had many people reach out to me and their husbands were Baptist or Methodist or Catholic, and they're like, what do we do? And it is a struggle. And I don't have an easy answer saying this is the way to do it. I think just staying true to yourself, though, and having the consistency. He doesn't understand it, but he accepts it now and knows, like, okay, he might not always believe it, but he's like, knows that, like, this is just who I am.
Yeah, I always kind of say we believe in the same basic things, just your rules are different than mine.
Right.
Yeah. You have rules. We don't. We just believe. That's kind of like, yeah, it's different.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, the golden rule is the golden rule across all religions and
Yep.
in spirituality. It's
Yep.
like, so
Yes.
I would say. Anyways, so people can find you on Instagram. That's in the links. People can find you at your website and book sessions with you there. And now they can find you in the Etsy store under, remind me the name again.
Colorful Earth Studios. And I think it's
Colorful
kind of
Earth.
hard to look up studios because or people I've tried. And so I'm like, I will definitely post the link in the comments because I don't understand. I'm still new with Etsy. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
and she's on Facebook too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's in my link. So I have a link in my Linktree app.
Yeah, you have a lovely link tree there too that
Yeah.
you can go and look up everything there. I love Linktree; it works really
Yes.
well. The other thing is, so if you had a theme song right now for your life, what would it be?
Probably the song Colorful. I don't know if I was kind of guided. And it's like, I don't know, colorful. It tends to switch. I think the most thing is I always go back to meditation with the angels. I don't think that's a theme song, but it always kind of gets me grounded in my body.
The
So
Meditation with the Angels by,
I'm not sure who she is. It's like a white light kind of energy one, and I can also post that in the comments.
oh, that would be great.
I send that to.
Mhm.
It's kind of how I started all my sessions. Yeah. So
Yeah, that would be a great one to have, a great resource to have. That would be awesome.
Yes.
I mean, I used to listen to Doreen Virtue's Meditation with the Angels all the time. And it would be my go-to, listen to it at night before I went to bed. Sometimes I'd make it all the way through, but not all the time. But yeah, it was a great one to listen to. Do you work with any crystals besides the earth crystals? Do you have any favorite stones?
Angelite's my favorite.
Angelite? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's not. Oh, it's up on my shelf. Yeah, I love angelite.
I do. Yeah, I love that crystal. So
it's gorgeous. It goes well too, right? Have you ever seen a UFO?
So, yes, with my physical eyeballs and my mind. So, I channel star seeds. So that yes, connect with them. Physical eyeballs, yes. So being in New Mexico, I think people know the stories there. I saw stuff in the sky. Like that's kind of an everyday occurrence if you've lived in New Mexico. So that was definitely. And then one time I was in the bathroom and I have sunlights.
Skylight?
Thank you, skylights.
Mhm.
And I was looking up, and it was like right before dusk, but not really, because it was still pretty light. And a gray, bald, short, went like this, kind of like on the window, And I was like, oh, okay. And then it was gone. So physical, yes, and like connection all the time. So yeah, so a couple of them, yeah.
That would freak me out. I'm sorry. I just don't like people peeking into the bathroom.
Well, and I always thought it would, because you think that, and then I just looked and I was like, oh. And then it was gone. I was like, oh, okay. Like you think you would, but like, yeah, we've had lots of encounters.
Has your husband seen them too?
No. Oh no.
Okay, because finally, I always tell everybody that my husband's favorite thing is I don't want to believe and I don't want to see, because he has that on his poster.
Mhm.
But he's coming around. Like he's coming around. He says, "Did you see that?"
Well, you have such a busy property. I can't. I mean, he probably just doesn't talk about it.
Well, he says, "Yeah, I saw that," but a lot of times he says, "I don't."
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he's
No.
now he's Reiki level 2. Everything's a little bit easier, you know what I mean? So yeah, everything's going a little smoother. So yeah, he's still not going out. Well, yeah, he comes out with me at night and he'll say, "Your friends were here." Apparently,
I know
my friends are your friends too now because they're showing themselves to you. But they're usually just lights in the sky, so nobody's peeking in our windows. Yeah. Anyways, so cool. I'm still waiting to see them on my trail cam.
Yes, I haven't. I've picked up orbs. I've had orbs in the video. I've had that. I haven't. But the beams of light, I think that was probably because I was driving to Albuquerque, and the lights these were like no lights in the sky. And when I saw it, I was like, and this was before my spiritual awakening, before I knew anything. And you didn't have great service, but I called my stepmom and I was like, in case I get abducted, something happens, like I'm on the phone with you, eyes in the sky, like these lights were like crazy. But a lot of people have seen that in New Mexico. And I mean, well, I think in the Southwest in general, I think that's kind of been out and about. But yeah, that was crazy.
That's astounding.
Mm-hmm.
That's astounding. Nancy,
Yeah.
anything recent for you out in North Carolina? Because I mean, North Carolina, Asheville's like a hot spot.
We have some
You have those caves.
really good lookout sites. I have not spent my time looking up like I used to. I'm just now getting back into getting out at night and with all the star activity and the meteorites and so on, getting back out again. I also, because again, that with the kitties that I feed out there, I kind of don't get a lot of peace out there right now. When I go outside, I'm immediately met up with "Pet Me Please," and it was like I really just wanted a couple minutes to myself. So that's kind of curtailed that a little bit lately, but it's starting to calm down. It's starting to calm down, so that's good. So I can get out and do my thing outside too.
Well, that's the thing. I think just like spirit, you have to be out there looking.
Yes,
you have to be out there listening.
You got to look up.
You have to look up.
Mm-hmm.
If we're always looking down, we're not going to see spirit or hear spirit, or we're not going to see all the wonders that are.
But I am grateful. I do get some shots though from my skylight in the kitchen. I have a big skylight in the kitchen, and there's nights where I at least get to look up from there.
That's awesome.
Catch some activity, so that's nice.
Well, Tanya, thank you so much for joining us today. And guys, please give Tanya's all her links a visit and connect with her and watch her. I'm looking forward to seeing more of your art and now your pottery and you've given me such inspiration. I have a whole drawer full of art supplies that just are all nice and pristine. They've never been used. Sitting there.
Oh yeah, get after it.
Get after it.
And you know, I want to leave everybody with this last note because, thank you so much. When you, and I'm going to use, because they keep showing it to me, Tyler Henry, when you really move yourself out of the way, you'll be amazed what comes through. So it's kind of similar to automatic writing. So I would encourage anybody, take your pens out, doodle, whatever, and then you can really start, because a lot of people I've noticed when I was teaching, they'll be like, well, I don't know what to write with automatic writing. What do I say? What do I do? And with drawing, I mean, you can doodle a house and it's amazing what comes through.
And I love it too. Brittany has a group class that gets together every, I think it's every week or every 2 weeks, and where everybody just kind of groups together and gets their art projects done. And that's awesome. A great place to get influenced, to just show up. I just bring my stuff, show up. And that also makes me take the time.
Yes.
To do it.
Because you share the energy, right?
Yeah, and the energy's there. And it's wonderful. It's so supportive.
And you can go through the Breakthrough Show Network Facebook page to get those links.
Yes.
So we're part of the Breakthrough Show Network. Mm-hmm. We're also part of veryparanormal.com network. We've been lucky. We've kind of, people have said, hey, you want to come on our network? And we said, sure. So we broadcast out there, and this will be in a podcast form later on this afternoon. We just download it and through the magic of whatever.
We're all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much. Yeah. Thank you for inviting me to be here. I appreciate it.
Yes. Well, we really appreciate you, and hopefully we can have you on next year with your new adventure and new project when you have it kind of more settled and maybe have your course ready. You can let us know. Your book, though, tell me about your book quickly because we have some time.
So it was also a download in the middle of the night. It's 77 emotional words, and there's 15 questions. The way I've done all my books is the same way as I do intuitive. Either you think about a number, or you scroll through the book and then stop, or on the back, you just kind of, whatever your eye feels drawn to. So there's 44 positive words and 33 emotional or negative words, but I don't like to see it as negative and positive. The word that you get guided to, there's 15 prompt questions, and it's talking about, and they really kind of dive deep into what that word and how it affects you. So the book is not meant to go through all 77 words. 10 words might affect me differently than it might affect you. So the words is kind of a self-guided tour. And really, when people are like, I'm stuck, I'm plateau, I feel dull, I need energy. Of course, with all my books, they're infused with energy as well. So it really gets you on that journey and kind of gets you over the hump to be starting to look in new areas of your life where you feel stuck or you're wanting to create more. So that's kind of how the book works. So it's a lot of the same questions, but the words are different. And then it gets you, okay, well, how does joy feel? How does, all these different words, how does it feel in your body? But there's also 15 other questions that you start peeling back the layers like onions.
Nice.
Thank you.
Cool. So cool.
Okay.
Well, thank you again. Nancy, anything left before we go? And
I think we're good. I think we'll have her links in there, so we'll be able to check in and go shopping in the store and also tap into her private art sessions, which sound fabulous.
So awesome. Thank you again, Tanya.
You're welcome.
We will talk to you just after this. I'm just going to
Thank you,
Thanks
guys.
everyone for showing up today, and watch our messages and meditations on the first of the month. This is Teresa's baby. Every month we start off with messages and meditations the first Sunday. So be there or be square. Thanks.